This is the M3 Pro MacBook and it launches early last year at 2500, and this is the new M5 MacBook Pro. It just released a few months ago and it's only cost 1600. Now I know what you are thinking. The M3 Pro obviously more expensive since it has a Pro chip, more CPU and GPU cores, and a bigger display. But the real question is it worth the extra $900? Because after running a bunch of benchmark and a real-world performance tests on both machines, the results were honestly surprising. They are actually very comparable, and in some tests, the M5 even outperformed the M3 Pro. So in this video, we are going to break down the comparison between the two and have you decide whether you should upgrade to this new M5 MacBook Pro or waiting for a better computer. So let's jump straight into the first thing, the design. And honestly, there's basically no difference between these two. Apple is still using the same iconic MacBook design for this latest model. It's kind of boring to be honest, but you know Apple, they stick to their philosophy. Things different, but design the same. You still get the same port, an HDMI port, an SD card slot, and 3 Thunderbolt 4 port. And I know some of you going to ask, why not Thunderbolt 5? Isn't it already on the M4 Pro? Yes, but Apple clearly want to keep that for the Pro lineup, just to make the Pro sound more Pro. The only real difference is the weight. This is about 600 grams heavier than the new MacBook, because it is a 16-inch MacBook, and this one only comes in one side, which is 14-inch. Aside from that, there's not much difference, and if you are buying this one and expecting someone notice you just buy a new MacBook, it doesn't work that way. But if you are buying it for work, it's actually pretty good. Let's move on to some of the benchmark I ran earlier. Both marks are base model, and on paper, the M3 Pro still had more RAM and more CPU and GPU core. But I'm going to show you the benchmark right now, and you'll be surprised that the difference is much smaller than you would expect. Starting with Cinebench GPU to measure the rendering performance. The M3 Pro scored at 5,812 points, while the M5 MacBook Pro get very close at 5,458 points. It's about 16% lower than the M3 Pro. However, this result is actually impressive considering the M3 Pro has 8 more GPU cores, which means the new GPUs now is more efficient, that we can get pretty similar in GPU performance even with fewer cores. Next up is the Geekbench 6 CPU benchmark, and this is where the M5 really shows its strength. Both single-core and multi-core performance beat the M3 Pro, 29% higher in single-core and 16% higher in multi-cores. With this level of CPU performance, most CPU-based apps will feel noticeably snappier, multitasking is smoother, and general web browsing feels more fluid as well. The browser speed benchmark backs this up, showing a 26% improvement over the M3 Pro. This performance also sees a big jump. The M5 is over 40% faster in write speed and about 25% faster in read speed compared to the M3 Pro. That means faster app launcher, quicker file preview, and much better performance when moving larger files. But these are just numbers and benchmark. They are good for a quick comparison, but to really understand how each Mac performs against the other, we'll have to put it in the real scenario, a real task. So that is what I'm going to do now. Starting with the task I use the most, video editing in Premiere Pro. Here I'm working on a 10-minute timeline, footage shoot entirely in 4K, and it also includes 2 color grading layers, several graphic templates on top, and multiple video effects is applied already. The goal is to replicate a heavy, real-world workload to test this Mac rendering and performance. And seems like the CPU is pretty efficient. I had no issues scrubbing through the timeline or making change on either machine. Everything stays smooth even with the preview set to full resolution. I also ran a rendering test, and the M5 finished about 1 minute and 20 seconds faster than the M3 Pro. That is not a massive difference, but it does prove one important thing. Just because this Mac scored lower in the Cinebench GPU test doesn't mean it will be defeated in the real-world GPU test like this. Gaming on the new M5 MacBook Pro also show a big jump in performance. Using the same graphics settings and resolution in Cyberpunk 2077, I'm getting almost double the performance on the M5, consistently getting over 60 FPS, which is a very playable mark for these AAA titles. Even when I turn on ray tracing for more realistic lighting and environment, I'm still seeing over 40 FPS compared to around 30 FPS on the M3 Pro. That is a huge difference, and it's clearly come from the upgraded shader cores and the third generation ray tracing engine on the new GPUs. Gaming on the new Mac M5 is honestly pretty impressive. The new GPU also integrates a neural accelerator into each of its cores, which makes the M5 MacBook Pro one of the best Mac yet for handling AI tasks. I ran a quick Geekbench AI benchmark, and unsurprisingly, the M5 outperformed the M3 Pro by over 25%. But you know me well, I always like to test things in a real-world scenario, so I ran a local AI text-to-image generation test using a simple prompt to see which one would win, and the results were even more surprising. The M5 finished the task in 3 minutes and 50 seconds, while the M3 took more than 40% of that time to complete the generation. So this part of the video is pretty clear that the M5 MacBook Pro is the winner over the M3 Pro. But just like any other machine, it does have some downside, and one of them is the thermal. It's not a huge issue, but it's worth mentioning and you gotta know before you're upgrading. This model has one fan while the M3 Pro has two. So if you are doing heavy tasks like renderings or gaming on the new Mac M5, it will warm up a bit faster against the M3 Pro. It doesn't throttle or slow down performance, but the M3 Pro with its dual fan setup definitely managed the heat better and stay cooler in the long run. The second downside is the screen size. This one is 14-inch compared to the 16-inch display on the M3 Pro. For me, it feels a bit tight after getting used to a bigger screen. However, if you are always use a 14-inch laptop or you are upgrading from a 13-inch MacBook, this won't be the issue for you. And I think that's kind of applied to everything. Once you get used to something bigger, it's kind of hard to go back to something smaller, right? So let's get to the bottom line. After done many testing and use this for a while, is this Mac worth upgrading? The answer is really depends on what you are planning to do with this Mac. If your workflow involves a lot of AI related tasks, then yes, this new machine can save you a lot of time on a daily basis. But if you are mainly use your computer for general productivities like running apps or like creative works, the M5 is faster, but the difference isn't huge compared to the previous generation. Honestly, my 600 M4 Mac Mini can keep up with about 90% of the M5 performance in things like video editing or even gaming. So for that use case, I don't think it is worth upgrading now. My personal recommendation would be to wait for the M5 Pro chip, likely come in 2026. That is when you will get a more meaningful jump in performance, something that truly future-proof and can last you 4 to 5 years. Alright guys, that is pretty much for today. Let me know in the comment what do you think about this new M5 MacBook Pro. Do you think it's so powerful, or do you think that you would wait for the next generation for even worth your money? Please let me know in the comment what you think, and should you have any questions, also drop in the comment and I will try to make a video about that topic so you have more information before you buying this one. Other than that, thank you all for watching. I'll catch you soon in the next video.